Hi friends, Kat Kerr here, and I have some new stencils with StencilGirl Products. Now, if you're familiar with my work, you know that I love to incorporate letters and numbers and words, and I wanted these to be special. The first one is Words for the Soul. It incorporates beautiful words like Ikigai, Meraki. The second stencil is Alegria, a list of Spanish words and their beautiful translations. Third is Go Big. I needed some big letters and numbers. And lastly, Ikigai. Find your Ikigai. It's a beautiful Japanese term that helps you find your purpose. Now today I'm going to be creating some collage panels using some backgrounds that I create with my monoprinting plate as well as some spray paint. Now I'm going to start by having a couple of play sessions, and the first play session is going to be with my monoprinting plate, my stencils, and I also picked out a handful of acrylic paint colors. And the purpose of this first play session is to create backgrounds that are full of texture. And I'm going to be adding layer upon layer of my stencil designs on top of one another because I am going to be cutting these down, and because they're going to be small, I want them to have a good amount of texture on them. And so for now, I'm just going to play and layer the stencils and have fun. For my second play session, I decided to use some spray paint, and I'm keeping these pretty simple, and I'm going with these bold colors, black, red, and turquoise. And I'm only going to make a handful of each stencil because I'm going to be layering these again with my collage elements. And I want these to be a little bit bolder, a little bit cleaner than the ones that I created on the monoprinting plate. Now, whenever I'm creating a collage panel, I like to create little piles of elements. And so the first thing I'm going to do is cut out some shapes using those monoprints. And I just used an assortment of dies to cut out different shapes. And I also ended up using the text-only spray painted backgrounds. And for these, I just used a paper trimmer and I cut out some strips. Next, I picked out these beautiful black and white hawk images from Collage Soup, and I cut them out and put them aside. Now, some other elements that I wanted to use for my collage, I painted some paper reinforcements in some complementary colors to go with the backgrounds that I created on those monoprints, as well as picking out some black and white rub-ons and other elements. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to need. Now, when it comes to collage panels, I work in layers. So I'm starting with the back layer. I have a piece of watercolor paper and I'm just using some watercolor to add to the background, and I'm just spraying it so that I can get some drips and some nice movement going on with that watercolor. Once that watercolor layer is dry, I come in with some matching acrylic paint, and I am going to use a cosmetic sponge and just add a couple of words here and there. I wanted to just add a little bit more texture to that background. To finish up this background, I'm going to use some rub-ons, and I am using just a black rub-on in, different designs. And one of the things that I love about, I love a lot of things about rub-ons, but I especially love that you don't necessarily have to rub on the entire image. You can just rub it gently and then pull it off, and you're left with just bits and pieces of it. Next, I'm going to use a sheet of Artist Tack micro adhesive dots, and this stuff is great because you don't have to wait for adhesive to dry, and you just peel off the protective layer. And here I'm adding all of my collage elements, or my main collage elements, and I'm filling this page up completely. Then I burnish it, and when I'm ready to apply them, they're like stickers, so I just peel them off and place them where I want to put them. Now I assembled these by first adding the sprayed on text strips that I cut out, and then I added 3 of the shapes. And in this case I went with the hexagon shapes, and as I was peeling off the focal to apply to the panel, I decided that I wanted them to pop up a little bit, and so I placed them onto a thicker piece of cardstock and then cut them out, and then I added some fiber onto the background, and I propped up my focal using some foam tape, and then I placed it onto the panel. Now I finished this one by adding some of those painted reinforcements that I created, and you can really finish these any way you choose. For this second panel I ended up using string as well as some glitter and some sequin, but whatever you have, I'm sure it would work just perfectly fine. These were so much fun to make, and I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you definitely check out my new stencils over at StencilGirl Products. Thanks for watching.